So that happened, and I have a feeling that this episode is going to divide most of the fans. Anyway, this is a speed recap for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, to make sure you didn't miss anything before the series finale. Before we start, thank you so much for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Alright, let's go down the list. Varys is in full-on treason mode when we start, being all gossip girl about Jon being heir to the throne news. Unfortunately, Tyrion confesses to Daenerys. She's pissed, blames Jon Snow, and then executes Varys. Basically, at this point, Daenerys is alone, she's betrayed, she's rejected by Jon, she's broken. Then we find out that Jaime was captured on his way back to King's Landing to see Cersei. Jeez, Tyrion is like 0 for 3 right now. And Dany basically says, Tyrion, if you mess up one more time, you'll be the next one that Drogon barbecues. And you know what? This fool still has the audacity to free Jaime behind Daenerys' back so he can go inside and warn Cersei so she can surrender before King's Landing gets destroyed. So Tyrion partners up with Davos and sets up an escape boat so Jaime and Cersei can escape off and live their lives together. This does lead up to a touching moment between Tyrion and Jaime where it basically is painted as their final goodbye. Okay, so the attack on King's Landing occurs the next day. The Hound and Arya are within King's Landing's limits and they make it into the Red Keep. Jaime is also within the King's Landing limits, but he does not make it into the Red Keep. So he ends up having to resort to taking a back door to the castle or something like that. So around this point, this is when Dany and Drogon come flying down from the heavens and destroy the entire Iron Fleet. She uses Drogon's agility to maneuver in front, to the side, behind the ships and all of that before the Scorpions can adjust and fire them off. Then Dany targets the Scorpions on King's Landing's walls. Then she goes for the soldiers, cueing Grey Worm, Jon Snow, and the rest of the army to invade King's Landing. They rush in and Cersei finally looks concerned for the first time this entire season. Then there's this beautiful long tense moment of them waiting for the surrender bells to ring. It's like we know Cersei's not going to surrender, but then we see the Iron Fleet in the background burning, and then Qyburn's just like, yo, we need to give up. They destroyed all the Scorpions. Their army is within the gates and our soldiers are surrendering. Then you hear the townspeople like, ring the damn bells, hurry up, ring them now. And finally, they ring. Then you see Daenerys. She's sitting on Drogon. She has them crazy eyes. She stares at the castle her family built. She sees a city that was stolen from her. She's alone. She's suffering. She's not thinking straight. And she's just like, screw it. She and Drogon lay waste to the entire city, burning soldiers, women, children. Everything becomes rubble and fire. Anyway, while Daenerys burns down King's Landing, Jaime finally makes his way to the back door of the castle where he conveniently runs into Euron, where he surfaces after being thrown aboard after the Iron Fleet attack. Then we get a drunk frat guy fight which results in Euron getting killed and Jaime getting mortally injured. But he's got to keep on going to find his boo. As Cersei escapes, she, Qyburn, and the Mountain are confronted by the Hound. Oh, by the way, there's a scene with the Hound and Arya earlier where he's like, revenge is bad, don't become me, go home, and she just leaves. Alright, so the Hound and the Mountain face off right after the Mountain pushes Qyburn to his death where he smashes his head open on some rubble. Then Cersei squeezes past them like, hey, bye! This fight was actually really cool. You see walls missing and crumbling, the city on fire behind them. At one point, Daenerys flies by on Drogon. It's just like really epic, and we finally get to see what the Mountain really looks like. And eventually they beat each other to a pulp. The Hound realizes he can't beat the Mountain hand to hand, so he grabs them, they fall off the ledge, and they go tumbling down into the raging fire below, thus concluding his story full circle. Alright, now we get to Cersei and she meets up with Jaime, and no, it is not Arya in disguise, it's actually Jaime. They share a moment then try to flee to the escape boat, but sadly the rubble has blocked all the exits to the castle's back door. Cersei shows a moment of actual weakness and Jaime comforts her, and it's actually a really good scene. They embrace each other as you can see the walls and the ceiling from behind them crumbling down, and then they go down in the rubble too. They go out together the same way that they came in. Together. Oh, I forgot. Meanwhile, Dany's soldiers think her going all barbecue crazy means it's a free-for-all. So they start killing more soldiers, killing civilians, and then even trying to violate the women. Jon's like, WTF guys, and he finally realizes that he may have made a mistake with Daenerys. Okay, now Arya, survivor of all the things, is running through the burning city and destruction. So we're seeing Daenerys' reign of destruction from the ground, which I think was a good way to showcase it. We can actually understand the severity of this entire situation. And then this goes on for like a really long time. And I'm not sure if dragons get sore throats or anything, but I was like, Dany, yo, chill, cool it a little bit. Like, don't you get bored at a given point? It's the same thing. Dracarys fire, crumble, 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 crumble. Anyway, Arya survives about 8 situations she shouldn't have, finds a horse, and then makes her way out of King's Landing. So the reason I think this episode is going to cause a divide between a lot of the fans is because there's a lot of plot conveniences that were needed to happen to close certain storylines. Then there were some character decisions that didn't entirely make sense. Like Arya all of a sudden being like, OMG, Clegane, you're right, I'm going home. Revenge is bad. Bye. But this episode did feel like a series coming to an end, which I like. The closure, the grand scale of the attack, it almost felt apocalyptic. And although I do feel like Cersei was kind of cheated this season, like she didn't really get to interact with any of the main characters, but I do like the symbolic ending of her and Jaime going out together. Daenerys going out trigger happy was predicted ages ago, so it wasn't much of a surprise. I mean, even the episode recap was just like, hey, remember this? Don't forget, it's happening now, remember! So I mean, there's that. When it comes down to it though, with one episode left, I'm still interested to see how the aftermath is going to play out. Okay, so the RIP section. We have Jaime Lannister, Cersei Lannister, Qyburn, the Mountain, the Hound, Euron Greyjoy, the Iron Fleet, the citizens of King's Landing, and Daenerys' sanity. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it meh? And if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe, and if you like it even more, hit that little notification bell to be alerted anytime I upload any new videos. Oh, and if you do feel so inclined, check out one of my buddy's YouTube channels. I'll link it right there, called Stevie J Reviews. Show him some love, check out his page. Until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds.